Yes, the question came up as to what were the main scales that we tend to use in playing, Western Sufi music. So I've written a chart here. If you can, you can kindly put it on pause and then copy it down. I'll try to bring it as close as I can so you get a good view of it. Okay. So these are the most common scales. Of course, at the top of the page we have the major scale, which is written in the whole numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Most popular scale after that, and excuse me, I have to do this, is the natural minor scale. The natural minor scale and the major scale are kind of like tracks on train tracks. They travel parallel together, and slipping between major and minor is very important in music. So I won't go into more of a discussion about it there. But the natural minor scale takes the major scale. It flats the third, the sixth, and the seventh. So the scale is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 8. Going up here, we have the dominant scale. It's also called the Mixolydian scale. The Mixolydian scale, the name comes from kind of a romantic notion about what ancient Greek music was like. Nobody really knows what ancient Greek music was like, but people pick these names kind of as a romantic nod towards something that actually is not grounded in reality. So, but this name, the Mixolydian or the dominant scale, describes a major scale which has a flatted seventh. So, for example, if you're playing G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G, the Mixolydian scale would flat that seventh, so you'd go from F sharp to F, for example. Next scale on the list is the Lydian scale. That has a sharp 4. It's different than major in that regard. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I already discussed the natural minor. We have the Dorian minor. So that has a major 6 in it. Only the flat 3 and the flat 7 are different from a major scale. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 8. And then we have the Phrygian minor, so another romantic name about the ancient Greek era. It's also known as Spanish minor because it's very, very common in both Spanish classical music and in flamenco music. So its main feature is it has a flat 2. So the entire scale has 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 8. Then we have something called the melodic minor. There's a little bit of variation with this one. I'll explain it as it comes up in certain tunes. But essentially, it is a minor scale, except the seventh is left as part of the major scale. So it's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, a flat 6, a 7, and an 8. And then here's a scale called Hijaz, which is an extrapolated scale from Turkish music. I mentioned earlier Turkish music has a few more notes in it within the octave than we do in Western music. So this is an approximation of it. It's an unusual scale. So, for Western ears. A 1, flat 2, 3, 4, 5, a flat 6, a 7, and an 8. Okay? So, what do you do with this information? So I'm just going to say, go back to using drones. I can't overemphasize that practice. If you really want to understand what flat 2 sounds like. You know, it's really good to have that anchor of the 1 droning, and so then you can really feel the, you know, the tension or the coloring with the flat 2. It's, you know, 4. My Indian vocal teacher Pandit Pranath taught that the 4 in a scale is like the ocean that covers the world. You know, it just obliterates or just covers everything, so it becomes like a very predominant note. Well, how would you know that unless you you know, worked against the drone and felt it for yourself? You know, there's an experiential component to working on these scales that way. You know, what does a sharp 4 sound like? You know, well, like the note 7 is really like the note of yearning. Like when you play that against the drone, that 7th note just makes you want to resolve. I mean, it's the heartbreaking note. It's the note that's just almost right there, and it just wants to go home. So what's the difference between that note and the flat 7? So you know, you have to have these experiences. So there's nothing wrong with staying, you know, playing with 1 drone and 20, 30 minutes, just experimenting with it, letting it kind of flow with you. You can use it as a meditation. You can chant, you know, chant something, you know, you know, with all those scales, and see what shows up for you. I cannot overemphasize the need to do drone work. It's very, very important. So, all right, thank you.